Hello everybody and welcome back once again to the Traxion channel for another one of my Formula 1 mid-season preview review series videos. So in the last video I basically went back and revisited my pre-season predictions for the 2021 Formula 1 World Championship, and I basically found out that I was wrong on a lot of occasions, whether that be car performance, driver performance. I made a lot of mistakes, but now that we're halfway through the season we've got a good idea of the pecking order and how the drivers are performing. So I guess in this video what I'm going to do is look forward to the rest of the season and basically tell you how I think it's going to go, where do I see the key battles being, and what do I think some of the ramifications will be in terms of the driver market at the end of the season. Now for this video I'm going to be driving as Max Verstappen, the championship contender, and we're going to be racing at Spa, which is of course the next Grand Prix. I'm going to start from the back of the grid as well, just to make it a little bit more exciting, and I'll try and fight my way through the field as we discuss what's going to be happening. So let's jump in. Let's see what we can do from the back of the grid then, in this Red Bull. So we get underway. We're going to be in amongst the Williams and the Haas. We're going to try and pick off as many cars as possible early on and see if we can get anywhere near the front. Oh, Latifi making a great move in the first corner, but I've matched him. Oh, squeezed down the inside into turn one, almost down the inside of Sonoda, but we get away with it. Now we're behind. See, Latifi made an amazing start. Raikkonen and Science as well in there. We're going to have to be careful through a Rouge. A little bit of a lift just to be safe. Back on overtake. Here we go, we've got Raikkonen. Box him in a bit. Latifi's going to block. We'll go down the inside. Momentum should carry us through. Oh!
Over him, look, he's going through! Oh, yes!
Okay. Latifi wasn't going to give me much space there, was he? But I think we've got the move done. Okay, we're on lap 1 out of 11. It is a 25% race I'm doing. We're made it up to 14th already. So we're just going to try and pick off one car at a time and just see how far up the field we can get. But yeah, looking forward to the second half of 2021. And first, let me start by saying, and you'll know about this if you watched the last video, I think the first half of the season has been absolutely sensational. In terms of the racing, you know, we've had barely any processional races. It's been very exciting. Obviously, the cars aren't amazing for overtaking, but even with that, the actual races, the strategical elements, the drama with the incidents and the rain, it's been one of the best, you know, in recent memory at least. Well, I'll get back to my story in a second once I've made a move on Science. Gonna squeeze down the inside, left a bit of room. I've probably left him too much room there. Oh, put on the power a bit too early. We'll pull back into the slipstream. And that should be us this time, hopefully. Here we go. Move done. Anyway, so what I was saying, looking forward to the second half of the season. We've obviously got Spa coming up, and I think that the championship fight is in such an exciting position, because there was a while at the start where it was looking like Hamilton's probably just going to start edging away from Max, and Max is going to really need to improve if he wants to kind of stay on top of it. And then suddenly, I don't know what changed, whether the Red Bull just got sorted in terms of its setup or a bit of development, or the Mercedes were struggling, but all of a sudden the Red Bull became the quickest car. And Max went on this incredible run. If it wasn't for the problem at Baku, obviously, that caused the DNF, he would have won, I think, 4 or 5 races in a row, something like that. At that stage, you know, at the end of the Red Bull Ring event, I was thinking, here we go. You know, Max has got this championship now. He just needs to keep on doing what he's doing. Lewis is staying close enough, but I just don't think the Mercedes has got the pace. But then Silverstone happened. Now, obviously, the incident is something in itself. I'm not going to go into too much details about that. I think it was, you know, Hamilton made a slight misjudgment. There was a crash. It happens in racing. The consequences of Lewis winning had nothing to do with the actual incident. That's just the way it goes sometimes, and you have to move on. But in terms of the championship, it's made it incredibly exciting, because we're now in a situation where, you know, Lewis has closed the gap and actually overtaken Max again in the standings. But at the same time, it's not as if the Red Bull is still the quickest car, because in the last few races, you'd have to say that the Mercedes seem to have sorted something out and are looking really strong again. So we now find ourselves in a position a bit like the start of the season, where you've got the two of them very closely matched in the championship, and we don't know going into each race which car is actually going to be the quicker car, whether it's going to be the Red Bull or the Mercedes, which is exactly what you want for an exciting championship fight. I thought, as I say, Max had it. I thought he absolutely had it in the bag, but that wasn't to be. And yeah, it sets us up brilliantly for hopefully a classic championship battle. I mean, it's already been classic, but I'm just hoping they continue in that vein, because yeah, it's going to go down in history, this one.
Caution, caution.
Oh, we've got a yellow flag through a Rouge, and Radion seems to be cleared though. Oh no, is that a Alpine? Oh, it's Vettel in the Aston Martin. I forgot to activate my DRS, I was so distracted. The next kind of key battle, you know, beyond the Mercedes, Red Bull, Hamilton, Verstappen battle is, of course, the battle for P3 in the Drivers' Championship. I'm going to try and make a move on Sonoda here. Nope, not quite enough. Oh, a little bit of contact. But yeah, the battle for third, obviously we've got Lando Norris in there at the moment, and he is having a phenomenal season in that McLaren. Do I think he'll hold on to third in the Drivers' Championship? Honestly, I don't see why not. That was a bold move by me. I don't know why I was trying it. I keep thinking he's going to lose it to Bottas and Perez at some point, but he just keeps delivering the race performances. Like, his race pace is really not far off the Mercedes or the Red Bull, and he's been so consistent. If I was putting money on it, I'd say that, you know, Perez or Bottas is going to end up in third place, and probably, to be honest, still Bottas, especially now that the Mercedes looks to be a match for the... Oh, a bit of a screen freeze there. The Mercedes looks to be a match for the Red Bull again, so I wouldn't be surprised if Bottas kind of ups his game in the second half of the season, but it's, you know, that doesn't take anything away from Lando of what he's done so far. If he doesn't end up finishing third, I still think he'll have had an incredible season. Coming near the pit window now. I think the battle for third in the Constructors is hugely exciting as well, because you've got, obviously, you know, Lando outperforming things in the McLaren, but Daniel Ricciardo underperforming, and you've got the two Ferraris both doing a solid job. Now, I think the Ferrari's maybe a better qualifying car, but the McLaren's a better race car. Oh, big moment through Eau Rouge. That was scary. So I really don't know who's going to come out on top of that one. It all depends whether Daniel can get himself sorted in the McLaren, but you know, I think that's going to go down to the wire as well. I really find it difficult to call that one. Both teams, I think McLaren and Ferrari, I'll be happy with their season, especially relative to previous seasons. You know, Ferrari had such a bad year last year that I think they're going to take, you know, just being in the fight for third in the championship, and obviously they'll be hoping for more next year. But you know, from a driver's perspective, both Sainz and Leclerc have been doing a great job, and I can see them continuing that for the second half of the season. Leclerc, I think, is going to pick up a couple more podiums, that's for sure. They seem to have found something in the race pace recently. Stuck in the dirty air of Tsunoda again. When it comes to Daniel Ricciardo, every single time I think he's kind of turned a corner and he's getting there, something else goes wrong for him. So, you know, I kept thinking, oh, he's going to get over this tough spell, but I've not seen evidence of it quite yet, so I really don't know how Daniel's going to get on the second half of the season. He needs to up it if he wants to at least, you know, retain his, I guess, his credibility in terms of what the public think of him. I mean, I know that Daniel Ricciardo's still a fantastic driver, but I can understand why more casual F1 fans will be questioning that, given the season he's had. But, you know, everyone has bad seasons now and then. It does happen. Doesn't mean you're a bad driver. Tsunoda seems to be my match in this race. I'm really struggling to get past him. I'll definitely get at some point, but I don't want to take, you know, a massive lunge at any point or take too many risks, so I've just got to be careful. I also, you know, when I was talking about Bottas, I kind of forgot to say, I really think Bottas is kind of in a fight for his career at the moment. I think he's obviously had bad luck this season, but then hasn't really ever kind of sorted that or found the form again. And if he doesn't step it up for the second half, then there's a good chance we'll see George in that car as early as next year. So I think that's one to definitely keep an eye on. If Valtteri, it's not even just his driving, it's his attitude. He just seems to have lost that spark, that motivation. Understandably, I mean, people are being really hard on him in the media as well. And yeah, he must be feeling very under pressure and probably not really enjoying himself too much at the moment. If you know, obviously that's a guess, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wasn't having the best of times. Okay, we're going to get Tsunoda this time, hopefully. Oh, I had to lift. Oh, no. Right, come on. Go around the outside into the chicane. He's going to squeeze me all the way out to the grass. There we go. Move done this time. Thank you very much. Okay, finally get past Tsunoda, and we are boxing. I'm not even in the points yet, but hopefully we can do something with the strategy here. Now, in terms of the actual midfield battle, now looking back at, you know, Aston Martin, Alpine and AlphaTauri, this is really intriguing, and I think this is one that's going to continue to the end of the season as well. I think people have been a little bit surprised and underwhelmed in some ways by Aston Martin. Alpine have kind of been where people probably would have expected them to be, but yeah, you know, you've got two older drivers, ex-champions, who are both doing a phenomenal job in their cars, and then you've got two younger drivers that have been impressing in different ways with Ocon and Stroll. So that one's going to keep going to the end of the season. I don't really know out of those two which has the better car. I keep thinking it's one of them, and then suddenly the next round they're nowhere and the other one's doing better. So I can't really make up my mind on what the pecking order is in terms of Alpine and Aston Martin. AlphaTauri as well. Obviously it's hard with Tsunoda not having a great season, it's hard to really place them, but Gasly puts in some performances that see him right at the top of the grid, and then on other days he's kind of mired towards the back of the midfield, so they're just a little bit tricky to place, AlphaTauri. There's no denying that Tsunoda's had a tough start to his F1 career, and now he's got the second half of the season to redeem himself. Do I think he's under threat for his drive next year? Probably not. But obviously with all the Honda links, as everyone peels into the pits, with all the Honda links... Oh, what happened there? I think I screwed that one up. Anyway, yes. because of the Honda links that Tsunoda has, and with AlphaTauri no longer, Honda pulling out of the sport at the end of the season, it's not going to be super straightforward. I don't think Tsunoda's guaranteed a seat for next year, and we just need more flashes of the speed he showed at the Bahrain. We need a little bit more of that. We need him to be a little bit calmer. So I think maybe the mid-season break's a good chance for him to change. Yuki's obviously had this summer break to kind of sit back and reflect on what's been so far this season. Oh, cold tyres through Eau Rouge and Radeon, terrifying. Hopefully he's used that time wisely and is kind of, he's going to hit reset and come back a little bit more relaxed and just try and enjoy himself, because I feel like he's another one who is probably feeling the pressure so much that he's struggling to enjoy things right now, and that's me speaking very much from the outside, but I could imagine that Yuki would be going through a lot of that at the moment. And, the cutthroat environment of Red Bull and AlphaTauri, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. So, yeah, let's hope we see a bit more from him. Not even more, just almost less. We want to see, less incidents, less drama, just rein it in a little bit, because the potential's obviously there for him. I've got a job now to try and catch Ocon and Leclerc up in front. Just going to keep concentrating on this one. Hit my marks. First time racing at Spa on F1 2021. Still getting used to everything, but it feels nice. It really does. It's a step up as always from the previous game, which is what you want. See, we've got people coming out of the pits. I think we've made it up into the points, have we? Not quite. Now we've got Alonso on cold tyres. We'll give him a bit of space and then hopefully be able to get him after Radeon. Right, let's get back on overtake. Alonso's actually got a run on Leclerc up in front. Yeah, I'm too far back. Next up then, you have the kind of battle between Williams and Alfa Romeo. Now that got very interesting after Hungary, because obviously, Williams picked up an incredible points haul for them in a freak race that Alfa Romeo really didn't take advantage of. So Alfa Romeo generally have more chance of scoring points on race day, but if George keeps on putting in incredible qualifying performances, he's always going to be thereabouts come Sunday. So I really don't know how that one's going to play out either. It's another one that's just, I guess, on the fence at the moment. Could fall either way. There's so many of those actually this season. The championship battle could fall either way. The Mercedes versus Red Bull. You've got Norris and Ferrari versus McLaren. That could go either way. Alpine and Aston Martin could go either way. It's so up in the air. I know this was meant to be kind of a predictions for the second half of the season, but it's more just basically just excitement for the second half of the season. I can't wait to see how it all pans out. This could be exciting into this corner as well. We're going to go for the move on Alonso, and we've got it done. Nice move up into the top 10. Didn't get any traction on the way out though.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Slipstream of Leclerc. He's going defensive. We've got Ocon in the way as well. Oh, how's this going to pan out? We'll go around the outside. I think we've got the move done and we're up into P9. That was exciting. In terms of Alfa Romeo, could this be Kimi Räikkönen's last season on F1? People have been saying that for a while, and I've kind of not been with that, because Kimi's still enjoying himself, and why would he leave when he's still enjoying himself? There's no one's going to force him out. It's his choice, which is totally up to him. But this season has been a struggle for Kimi. He's made some uncharacteristic mistakes, and I could see him, thinking that now is probably quite a good time for a transition within the team. I think Kimi's involved now with the actual management of the team as well. He's got some sort of stake in it, so I feel like he'll be wanting to do whatever's best for the team as well, rather than just in it for his own self-interest. Kimi just loves F1 though, and that's, what more could you want than that? Antonio Giovinazzi, I wonder if we'll see him next year. I think we will, but there's every chance Alfa Romeo could change both of their drivers heading into next season. As we're going to get the run on Ocon, we're going to go outside again into this hairpin, if it leaves us enough room. Oh, he's done a good defensive move there. I'm going to try and get the cut back. Can we get him down? Yes, look at that, easy.
9.7 seconds.
And we are now up into 8th position. Alfa Romeo are probably one of the most underwhelming teams this season in terms of the way they've just dropped away. Like, they looked good at the start, and they just seemed to lose some of that towards the end. Now I'm going to get DRS here, aren't I? There we go. Oh, I've got Leclerc as well, and to pull back into the slipstream. This is scary now. I feel like Leclerc just hit the back of me. That might have been my fault, I'm not quite sure. Just another word on Williams as well, and specifically George Russell. Is this going to be his last year in that Williams? Is he going to be in the Mercedes next year? I think it's as good a chance as ever before of that happening. But I wouldn't be that surprised if he had one more year in him. And the Williams, obviously, with the regulation changes, we don't know how the pecking order is going to be next year. It could be that the Williams is, up the top of the midfield even. The Mercedes could be nowhere, who knows? But That's always the way with these big regulation changes. It's so hard to predict. But Williams are definitely in a good position. They're better financially than they were in the past. And heading into the second half of the season now, they had a great race at Hungary. So, there's no reason why they can't push on. I think we'll see the Williams back in the points again. I don't think that's the last points they'll score this season. I think it might be the last points Latifi scores this season. But I wouldn't be that surprised if George can sneak another points finish or two before the end. And as I say, we might see him in the Mercedes next year.
This is your final lap of the race.
On to the last lap. And speaking of last, Haas F1. What are they going to do in the second half of the season? Well, I mean, do I really have to go into that? I think they're going to continue to be at the back of the grid, not really developing their car, not really caring. Mazepin's been improving ever so slightly recently, but Mick's continuing to do a good job. We've seen Mick a couple of times in qualifying really putting in an impressive shift, so I don't think there's much to add on Haas really. They will continue to be at the back, and they will be looking towards next season, but I think hopes will be high with them for next season. I think they'll be looking to move away from right at the back of the grid and try and be somewhere near the midfield. If they are again at the back of the grid next year, despite obviously all of the lack of development this year and the focus on 2022, I don't think they'll last long in F1. If they're at the back again next year, I can see Gene Haas pulling the plug. I really can. They have a lot riding on 2022 as a team, and yeah, I'd love to see Mick Schumacher in a slightly more competitive car just to see what he can do. We're still holding off Ocon here. No, we're not. Ocon's ahead of me. We're still holding off Alonso, so my pace, I thought I'd be able to fight through the pack a little bit more, but looks like I'm not quite quick enough at the moment. Oh, scary over the curb. We'll use all of our overtake as Lewis Hamilton crosses the line to win the Belgian Grand Prix, presumably. Yes, he does. Just using all of my overtake going into the last chicane. We're going to save a little bit, just in case we can get a run on Ocon here. We'll activate overtake. Coming out the last chicane. DRS. No, it's not going to be enough, and it's going to be P9.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Not a terrible effort, but the Red Bull's got a lot more potential than P9, even from the back of the grid. I did get driver of the day, though. I guess that's something. Lewis Hamilton takes another Belgian Grand Prix victory. Daniel Ricciardo on the podium as well. I don't think we'll see that in real life, sadly. Oh, there's James Allison as well, getting a bit of champagne. Oh, I want to see Ricciardo back in the podium. I'd love to hear how you guys think the Formula 1 season is going to pan out in the second half. For me, it's not really about predicting who's going to beat who, because it's so up in the air. It's a lot more about just sitting back and looking forward to it and enjoying it. I'm going to be leaning back with my popcorn, with a beer in my hand, enjoying the rest of this season, because anything could happen still. There's so many twists and turns to come. It's been iconic this season so far. And that's not going to change all of a sudden. The cars are still going to be just as close to each other. We're going to have more drama. We're going to have more surprises, I'm sure. And yeah, personally, I cannot wait for the rest of the season. Let me know, of course, if you guys are excited too. And make sure you subscribe to the Traxion channel if you want more Formula 1 content and other racing game content in the future. Until next time, keep it pinned. Thanks for watching and have a great day.